Hey YouTube, thank you so much for joining me today. I am back with a video where I want to go ahead and talk to you about my bariatric journey. I want to say a few years ago I did a video on it and I didn't get a chance to go in depth or whatnot, but some things have happened over the years. I'm still excited about the journey that I'm on and everything, but I do want to go ahead and give some updates. Maybe this will help someone on their journey who's thinking about getting the surgery, what to expect. Let's get into it. I will say that the surgery was one of the best decisions that I made for myself. I do not have I have my days, and I'll get into that on another video. I have more contentments that I do regrets. So I have more contentments than I do regrets. And I am okay with that. I'm okay with that. Nothing is perfect. Of course, when you're used to living your life a certain way, of course you want to go ahead and have your pleasures too. But, that was the reason why we got the surgery. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So before I start, I actually had my surgery July 15, 2020. So 5 years ago. My highest weight was 297. And the reason why I got it is because not only did I have some pre-existing issues, like some comorbidities, I had delayed periods. So I had issues with having a scheduled cycle, or wouldn't come at all. Lots of pain, no fibroids, thank God, but just lots of pain, and either be spotty or long. So it was a very, very delayed period. So that has changed a lot. I was pre-diabetic as well, so they were trying to put me on some medicine. And I watched my granny, take medicine throughout her whole life or whatnot, and I used to actually have to get her medicines together before she died. And I always told myself I never wanted to take pills, so I'm not a pill girl. But they were trying to put me on diabetic medicine, or put me in that category where I can start taking it. And I feel like once you start taking that medicine, you cannot get off of it. I know people who are taking medicine. Well, I know they're taking blood pressure medicine, but a lot of times that stuff go hand in hand: high blood pressure, diabetes, and everything. So no, I didn't want that for myself. So those two factors basically pushed me in the right direction to go ahead and have the sleeve. I didn't tell anybody. The only person I told was my mother. And maybe the day of surgery is when I got a chance to tell people, or I went ahead and let it be known or whatnot. But I just didn't want to be talked out of it. I didn't want the backlash. I wouldn't do that. I would, how people will go ahead and give you their unsolicited opinions. So I just didn't want to hear that or whatnot. And because my mom had known some of the things I had been going through, I feel more comfortable with her knowing. But while I was waiting to go back in that room, I did have her call my brother and my cousins to let them know she's having surgery today. Keep her in your prayers, all of that. The day of surgery I was a nervous wreck. I got there super early. I want to say about 5 o'clock in the morning. They didn't start until 9, so they had to prep me. They had to get me together, put me in a room. Each nurse that came in there to talk to me basically was saying I was going on a mini vacation. So she was like, you guys are going to love it. And I actually requested, now please forgive me, but I actually requested to actually see my stomach. They didn't do it, but I wanted to go ahead and see what was in there. Like, what y'all looking at? But on the day they took me back there, they prepped me up. I was nervous because it's like, I don't know what they're going to do. They're getting ready to take them out of my stomach. So I went to sleep. They put me to sleep, had me count back from 20. Next thing you know, I'm waking back up. I'm not sure how long I was in there. I didn't really check the time. But I do know that as I was waking up, the nursing, I felt lots of pain. I felt a lot of pain. Matter of fact, I think they wanted me to wake up before they gave me medicine. As I was coming out of the anesthesia, I was feeling all of that. I was feeling all of everything that they had did to me. I felt the tube that was in my throat. I felt the remains of that. I felt whatever kind of incisions they made. And I remember barely waking up saying I wanted to get up and go pee. And the nurse was just like, no, you can't get up and go pee. But they gave me a bedpan so I can get up and do that. And, well, I didn't get up. But I did pee in the bedpan. And I remember as soon as I peed in that bedpan, because there were two nurses. There was one on my bedside and one that was helping me with the other stuff. I began to feel much better. So I believe they were administering me medicine at that same time. So anyway, they ended up rolling me back to my room. And in my room is where basically I, recovered, came from out of the back of the room, the operating room, to my stay room and the hospital room. Excuse me. My mom was there and she was just saying, you look really out of it. But I woke right back up. I remember being hungry. I still was hungry. And they say your mind plays tricks on you and whatnot. No, I was hungry. But the problem was I had just had major surgery. So, you can't eat. You don't want to put anything that's going to rupture your incisions or anything. So I had a bunch of Jell-O, which was satisfying. It was very, very satisfying. The thing is that I really didn't eat the Jell-O. I really didn't. They mainly gave me like Kool-Aids and broths and maybe like a popsicle to suck on. But even then I couldn't get much in. I could get maybe like a little tube. It was really small. But in my mind, I felt like I could eat a whole meal. No, you couldn't do that. So I ended up having to stay an extra day in the hospital because I had high blood pressure. And I remember them getting ready to try to release me, but they took my vitals and they were just saying we need to keep her an extra day. And I actually had the IV I was still hooked up to the IV. I believe I had got too much saline, or I was just too hydrated, because at that time I began to run off. TMI, I'm sorry. But they gave me too much. So by my second day, they was ready to get me up out of there. And I was ready to go home myself. So once I was discharged, I would say the first 4 days at home I was just more so relaxing, just trying to wrap my head around what had happened, trying to walk. I didn't have problems with walking. It did feel like because I had pain medicine and whatnot, but in some cases you felt like you worked out your abs a little too much. And that sharp feeling where if you haven't properly stretched or whatnot, or it feels like your muscle is basically, it needs some repair or whatnot. It feels that way. But anyway, I remember them pumping me up with a bunch of air. So back to the hospital. In the operating room, they pump you with a bunch of air. So you're going to be filled with air. Of course, you have to go ahead and fast. So they make sure that your liver is, a normal size or the retraction size. They make sure that you don't eat anything, you don't drink anything, no alcohol, none of that. You want to make sure all of that is out your system. You actually shouldn't be having alcohol anyway. But we'll get into the alcohol thing in another video. But you shouldn't be having any alcohol anyway. But you want to make sure that you fasted from all of this. This is a major surgery. They're messing with your organs. So they pumped me up with a bunch of air. And that was basically to get inside, get everything out, blah, blah. But as I'm at home recovering from it, I have to release that air. And it wasn't like a smelly thing or whatnot. It was just more so air coming out. And when I tell you it was painful, that was the most painful part. That's the only thing I can remember being the most painful part, was the air, trying to release that air. And it took me 4 days to actually pass all of that air. Oh my God, it was the worst. Because if you ever had bad gas, or if you ever had, your stomach hurt real bad, think about that, and you trying to release air, And I hadn't really had food, so it wasn't a bowel movement or anything. So me trying to manage that, I drank my smoothie, well, not smoothies, but I drank my protein shakes, water, I drank teas, I had, basically I was on a liquid diet, and I was fine with it. But again, in my mind, I still wanted to eat. Like, again, one of the things you want to know about you want to remember about this surgery is that it's a tool, and habits do not die overnight. So if you're used to doing certain things, if you're used to performing, you might want to break yourself before, hand. And that's why they give you that 6 months before. That's why they give you that 6 months, so that you can go ahead and prepare yourself, and that they can go ahead and do what they need to do to make sure that they are doing the right procedure, that they can see if, hey, you got this going on, or hey, this would be perfect for you. They need to be able to go ahead and do their part properly, and you need to be able to do it properly as well. So you do want to give yourself that 6 months to a year. I will also tell you to start working out. If you have not started working out, to start working out, because you want to get your body accustomed to what's going to happen, that you're going to drop weight fast, and a lot of it's going to be muscle and water, but you want to train your body so that you can go ahead and maintain a lot of the things that you're going to lose. Like muscle is one of them. And I am a woman of a particular age. I got this in my I'm 35, I'm 40 now, so I have noticed a lot with myself that has changed with muscles and everything, because I don't eat as much. I metabolize really fast, and I do work out. Haven't been consistent like I should, but we'll get off into that. I'm glad that I'm releasing these videos again, because it's so much that I want to go ahead and cover. I mean, it's a lot of things I want to cover. This won't be my only content, but the bariatric surgery was one of the major major things that happened in my life. So I wanted to make sure that I am helping someone else along the line. But takeaways from it: you want to make sure you follow all of your doctor's orders. You want to make sure you complete each step. I don't care if it's 6 months out or whatnot. If they're telling you to let go of alcohol, let go of alcohol. It will hurt you. If they're telling you to stop drinking sodas, stop drinking the sodas. It will help you. It will hurt you. And it's sugar water. And because you're having this surgery, after you have this surgery, you'll be able to pack on weight much faster. And if you're drinking sugar, baby, it's going to show up on your body. We will talk about that in the other videos. One of the other things that I would take away from it: follow your doctor's orders. You want to make sure that you are exercising properly. You want to start exercising now. You want to condition yourself now. Just because you're taking the step to go ahead and do the work, lose the weight and everything, that's one thing. You want to look good, and you'll see a lot of people with loose skin. And those people, I follow one girl who, she dropped a lot of weight and she had loose skin, but she kept working, and she ended up having surgery to fix her loose skin. The loose skin is not the problem. It's more so you actually strengthening your core and just maintaining your body composition. You're gonna lose the weight. That's what we want to do. We want to ultimately lose the weight. But a lot of times when you don't work out, you just it looks like you're just melting. That's basically what it is, and you don't want that look or whatnot. Depending on where you are in life. Like, some people have more than others to lose, and you want to allow everybody the grace that they deserve. But there is a way to combat that melted look, for you to start strength training, for you to start exercising and everything. That was one of the things I did. I got off into skating beforehand. I actually found a local boot camp that was Black owned, that was around the house. Actually, one of the ladies from my old church ran that one. So I got a chance to work out with groups. I stayed, on a bike or whatnot. I approach things like with childlike wonders anyway. So I don't necessarily do everything average. A lot of you'll probably look at me like, she is so immature. But no, I just like to take a different approach to different things, and I like to have a different experience with it. And I don't necessarily want to gripe about it, so that's why I do the things that I do. But yeah, you want to make sure you work out. You want to make sure you follow your doctor's orders, and you want to make sure that you follow your food order as well. Don't try to eat on your new stomach. You don't want to. You're likely to rupture your incisions, like your stitches, and it'll be more painful than what you was expecting it to be. So don't do that. Other than that, this is the video. That's my journey for the bariatric surgery. Comment, let me know what you think. What journey are you at? What section are you in? I'm in my 5th year. Have a lot of other things and experiences that I wanted to talk to you about. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll be in touch with you guys soon. Have a great day.